On a fog-draped evening in the heart of London, the gas lamps cast eerie shadows on the cobblestone streets of Baker Street. The spectral dance of light and darkness, a sombre ballet, harkens to a time long past. A time when a brilliant beacon of deductive reasoning, Sherlock Holmes, met his supposed end at the Reichenbach Falls. Years have since passed, years filled with the quiet mourning of a dear friend by Dr. John Watson, and the world's lament for the loss of its greatest consulting detective. But time, as it often does, carries with it the seeds of change. And on this particular night, the cobblestones of Baker Street, worn by countless footfalls and witness to countless tales, braced themselves for a tale unlike any other. A tale that defied logic, that pushed the boundaries of belief. For on this fateful night, the streets of Baker Street bore witness to an extraordinary event that would defy logic and rekindle the legend of Sherlock Holmes. A soft but deliberate knock resonated through the stillness of the night. The echo of the sound hovered in the air, a spectre of unexpected intrigue. Dr. John Watson, his heart pounding in his chest, approached the door. The heavy wood seemed to whisper tales of suspense and mystery, its time-worn surface a testament to countless adventures and enigmas. "Could it be?" Watson murmured, his voice barely a whisper, caught between disbelief and blind hope. "Sherlock Holmes." The name hung in the air, a ghost from the past. The response was almost immediate. "Indeed, my dear Watson," came the composed, unmistakable voice of Sherlock Holmes. The voice that had once been the soundtrack to countless enigmas, the voice that had been silenced by the roar of the Reichenbach Falls. Holmes pulled back his hood, his sharp features illuminated by the flickering gas lamps, the same features that had once been synonymous with logic, intellect, and the art of deduction. "I trust you've been well?" Holmes continued, his tone as casual as if he had merely stepped out for an evening stroll. Watson blinked in astonishment. The cold night air brushed against his face, a welcome distraction from the surreal encounter. He pinched himself almost involuntarily. This couldn't be a dream, could it? "But you perished at the Reichenbach Falls. How is this possible?" Watson's voice trembled with disbelief. Holmes's grey eyes gleamed in the dim light, a spark of determination and intellectual prowess igniting within them. "It was a ruse, my dear friend, a clever deception designed to elude my adversaries." His words hung in the air, an astonishing revelation that turned the world as Watson knew it upside down. Watson was left speechless, his mind racing to process the unimaginable. Sherlock Holmes, his dear friend, the world's greatest detective, had cheated death. And he stood before him, alive and well, ready to plunge into a new mystery. Watson blinked in astonishment, the cold night air brushing against his face, and he almost involuntarily pinched himself to ensure he was not ensnared in some vivid dream. The legend of Sherlock Holmes had been rekindled, and the world would soon bear witness to his extraordinary exploits once again. Holmes, his grey eyes ablaze with the gleam of unwavering determination and intellectual prowess, chose this precise moment to demystify the enigma. As if unveiling an intricately woven tapestry, he began to recount the tale of his artful deception. His voice, steady and resonant, filled the room with an air of suspense and intrigue. "It was a ruse, my dear friend, a masterstroke of deception, designed to elude the relentless pursuit of my adversaries. I faked my own death," he declared, his voice echoing with a sense of finality that left no room for doubt. Watson, his face a mask of bewilderment, could only stammer, "But how, Sherlock? How did you manage to fake your death?" His eyes, wide with curiosity, bore into Holmes, seeking answers to questions that had plagued him for years. Holmes's lips curled into his signature enigmatic smile, a subtle hint of triumph playing in his eyes. "The fall from the Reichenbach Falls was genuine, and it should have been fatal," he began, his voice a whisper in the hushed room. "However, I had prepared for the eventuality that my arch-nemesis, Professor Moriarty, might attempt to take me down with him. As we grappled by the precipice, I managed to loosen my grip on Moriarty and contort my body mid-fall. I landed in a crevice that was not visible from above," he continued, his voice steady despite the gravity of his words. The room was silent, save for the crackling of the fire and the soft ticking of the clock. Watson sat, transfixed, as he listened to Holmes recount his daring escape from death. His heart pounded in his chest, a symphony of shock and admiration for his friend's audacious act. Holmes, however, was not done. With a glint of determination in his eyes, he revealed the final piece of his deception. The world believed me dead, and I seized the opportunity to disappear into the world of anonymity. Watson could only stare in disbelief, grappling with the revelation of Holmes's deception. As the weight of his friend's words sank in, he realized the magnitude of Holmes's sacrifice and the lengths he had gone to protect those he cared about. In the quiet room, the echo of Holmes's words lingered, a testament to his daring and cunning. His artful deception had not only fooled his adversaries, but had also allowed him to slip away from the prying eyes of the world, to live in anonymity until the time was right for his return. In the end, it was clear that Sherlock Holmes, the world's greatest detective, had once again proven his unparalleled ingenuity and audacity. His artful deception at Reichenbach Falls was a masterstroke of cunning, a testament to his brilliance, and a reminder of why he was, and always would be, the world's most renowned detective. The world believed me dead, and I seized the opportunity to disappear into the world of anonymity. Watson listened in awe, realizing the meticulous planning and audacity that the great detective had exhibited to escape such a dire predicament. The room was thick with anticipation as Holmes continued, his voice steady and confident. In the years that followed my supposed demise, I was not idle, Watson. Instead, I lived a life of careful obscurity, a shadow among shadows. The world believed me dead, and I found in that a strange form of freedom. I travelled extensively, from the bustling streets of Paris to the windswept mountains of Tibet, from the scorching deserts of Arabia to the icy tundra of Siberia. It was a tale worthy of the greatest adventure novels, and Watson found himself captivated by the narrative. Holmes had always been a man of extraordinary faculties, and his ability to adapt and survive in such varied conditions was a testament to his resilience and resourcefulness. I sought knowledge wherever I could find it, expanding my understanding of the world and its intricacies. In Paris, I learned the art of disguise from a master of the theatre. In Tibet, I studied meditation and mind control. In Arabia, I delved into the ancient secrets of alchemy. And in Siberia, I learned the art of survival in the harshest of conditions. Watson could hardly believe what he was hearing. The man who stood before him was not merely the Sherlock Holmes he had known, but a man who had honed his skills to an even finer edge, a man who had become a master of disguise, deception, and deduction. But now, my dear Watson, I find myself drawn back to the life of a detective. A crime of a most heinous nature has occurred in the United States, a crime that defies explanation and logic. It is a puzzle that cries out for a solution, a mystery that begs for my unique expertise. Holmes's voice was filled with a burning intensity that Watson recognized well. It was the same passion that had driven Holmes to solve some of the most baffling mysteries of his time. It was the same relentless pursuit of truth that had made him the world's greatest consulting detective. The details of the crime are yet to be revealed, but I assure you, it is a case that will challenge even my abilities. It is a call to adventure that I cannot ignore, Watson. It is a call that I must answer. Watson felt a thrill of excitement surge through him. The prospect of joining Holmes on another adventure was too enticing to resist. He could already envision the thrill of the chase, the exhilaration of unraveling a complex mystery, the satisfaction of seeing justice served. And so, Watson, I find myself at a crossroads. I must shed the cloak of obscurity that I have worn for so long and step back into the world, back into the light. I must return to the life that I once knew, the life that I was born to lead. It is time for me to emerge from the obscurity of my exile.